Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
What's going on, fam? This is Jay Cameron inviting you to join us in Ethiopia next March 2025. And this is going to be an iconic trip that you don't want to miss, a trip of a lifetime. We're going to be visiting Addis Ababa, Gondor, Lalibela. You'll have a chance to taste the amazing Ethiopian food. You'll also have a chance to visit the Rastafarian community. You'll get the history, you'll get the fashion, you'll have an opportunity to shop. It's going to be a trip, an experience of a lifetime. So make sure you sign up to join us in Ethiopia, March 2025.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. It is August the 20th, 2024 on the Tuesday. And yeah, we know the DNC is going on in Chicago right now. And we're going to, just talk about that a little bit. I hope everybody is, once again, doing great. It's real hot. Oh, my Lord. It's hot down here right now. It was like triple digit today, and it felt like 112 degrees. So your AC was just kicking. You know what I'm saying? It was really kicking. Before we get started, definitely, if you are going on the Ethiopia trip, like I said, just, I know y'all, excited about that when you're going to go in March, those of you who's doing that. And like I said, I know we probably close that out at the end of the month or so, maybe beginning of September. We got some extra spots, even though it was sold out. So just make sure that, you are keeping up with your payments and all of that, so we can have a great trip, great time in Ethiopia. Also, you can download the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store. Take advantage of the back to school promotion that we have right now. We take advantage of that. Use the promo code MyNews50. I usually put that in there, but I'm just kind of running behind. I had an eventful day today, ladies and gentlemen. So, but we are here, and let me make sure I put that promo code and everything. Make sure you use all caps on that promo code. So just give me a second. Let me put that in there, and then I don't have to worry about it after this. Boom. All right. That's there. So the DNC, they are, they're doing their thing right now, and they all excited about Kamala, and and you know, we're going to talk about some of that, but let's go ahead on and get to, where's my screen here, so we can go ahead on and talk about that. Let's get to, where we at? We'll do a devotional tonight, and in the spirit, you know, of the DNC, we'll go ahead on and just feature your Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. So let's go, and then we'll get into this conversation.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
And I'm wondering what the United States is going to do more specifically to set up a permanent infrastructure. And relatedly, is the United States willing to make a specific allocation for Ukrainian refugees? And for President Duda, I wanted to know if you think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees.
Okay. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay, I can first. Okay.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day.
Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like our thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah. I believe that we need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your Vice President of the United States. So definitely we're going to try to have some class today a little bit, and let's get through this. Let's get through it. All right. So the DNC kicked off yesterday in Chicago, and we know Chicago has been a city that's been dealing severely with the migrant crisis. A lot of money, you know, into the billions have been going into the migrant crisis instead of that billions of dollars going into, you know, the hands of the citizens of Chicago or the surrounding areas. They have money for everything else, but when black people talk about, hey, we need resources, we need reparations, or whatever we need, we have no money for black people. We don't know what you're talking about. We broke. The economy is bad. We got to do something for everybody, but we can't do the targeted because we can't focus on a race or whatever. But when it comes to immigrants, they have no problem with the people that come over. Even a lot of these people are starting committing a lot of crimes. That's happening a lot now, and they still are on that. They're still prioritizing that. So I wanted to highlight, just running like just a short highlight reel of just some of what happened yesterday at the DNC. I watched a lot of it, and the highlight reel I think is enough because I would not want to waste your time going through some of these speeches these people were doing. I just have a thing about listening to people trying to rile people up, but they just do such a bad job at it. You know what I'm saying? From Hillary to Biden himself to just a lot of them. I mean, I like when people are just kind of charismatic when they speak. At least you're trying to get people, you know, going. Now, I know tonight Michelle Obama and Barack Obama are supposed to be speaking tonight. I know that. And of course, I'll check that out later, you know, after the stream here and all of that. But let's get to some highlights and let's, you know, see what they were doing here. So just give me a quick second, and we'll just show a couple of highlights.
I want to kick us off by celebrating our incredible president, Joe Biden. Joe, thank you for your historic leadership, for your lifetime of service to our nation, and for all you will continue to do. We are forever grateful to you.
I've got 5 months left in my presidency. I've got a lot to do. I intend to get it done. It's been the honor of my lifetime to serve as your president. I love the job, but I love my country more. She's tough, she's experienced, and she has enormous integrity. Enormous integrity. Her story represents the best American story. And like many of our best presidents, she was also vice president. In 2024, we need you to vote. We need you to keep the Senate. We need you to win back the House of Representatives. And above all, we need you to beat Donald Trump.
Joe and I know Kamala. We have seen her courage, her determination, and her leadership up close. Kamala and Tim, you will win.
In Kamala Harris, we have a chance to elect a president who is for the middle class because she is from the middle class. Republicans have attacked me by saying that I should go back to bartending. But let me tell you, I'm happy to any day of the week because there is nothing wrong with working for a living.
Kamala has the character, experience, and vision to lead us forward. So it is no surprise, is it, that he is lying about Kamala's record? He's mocking her name and her laugh. Sounds familiar. But we have him on the run now. On the other side of that glass ceiling is Kamala Harris raising her hand and taking the oath of office as our 47th President of the United States.
All right, that was just a little short highlight, but there's another video I want to get to a little later. So the DNC, they've been going real hardcore this time. I mean, last time when Biden ran, they didn't go this hardcore like they're going now. And I said, they really throwing the kitchen sink in this election. I mean, I've never seen them this hardcore. And also, if you didn't know, and I should have got the video because I saw it, but I would have to do it in real time though if I get the video. Outside the DNC, they have a mobile Planned Parenthood out there, and they're doing abortions and vasectomies. At the DNC, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they're prioritizing. They're not there to be talking about policy and what they're going to do for the American people. They're out there making sure, hey, you got your abortions over here, abortion on demand, here you go. But it's in a blue state, so you know how that goes. But yeah, that is the foundation of the Democrat Party. Hey, you want to unalive a child? We make sure to make it easy for you. But once again, they're not telling the migrants to do the exact same thing. So just tonight, and I saw some of you in here say, it was kind of boring. Yeah, it was. I'm so glad that we can actually go back and rewind something or watch it online. 'Cause I was trying to lay in my bed last night and watch a lot of it, even Biden's speech. Biden in his speech, he was so angry. I mean, he was angry. I'm like, bro, where was all that energy beforehand? It's like, did they give you some new medication or something? I'm like, what was going on? I mean, Biden was cussing and name calling, and that was more so the theme that I saw was the name calling. And I'm like, okay, everybody's name calling, everybody, where was your policies? Out of all those speakers, nobody talked about policy. I mean, if you want somebody to vote for you, right? You can't just say the other guy, he's horrible. What is better about you, right? The Democrats went so hardcore. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but I didn't know if I would get a copyright. That's why I didn't show it. But they went and got the Law and Order announcer, and they did a whole Law and Order thing on Trump. I mean, of course, in this montage that they made, I mean, they put some work into it. If some of y'all saw it, I was like, oh wow, okay, they really put some work into this one, right? For them to go get the Law and Order announcer to do it. Okay, cool. It's not like it was some new information we didn't know, right? But so I'm looking at that. I say, man, the Democrats are really going hardcore about this. I say they are so like they feel like their life is on the line with this election. And if you notice, they don't want to say nothing that can make anybody sway from them. This is why I really believe why they're not mentioning black people. Is yeah, they practice benign neglect, but they really don't want to mention black people now. They say, oh, no. We not even touching black people. We not going to touch Sonia Massey, even though that's something that we probably can get votes out of. We don't even want to take that chance of even affiliating ourselves with that particular case, right? Don't want to talk about Sonia Massey at all. Kamala is a black adjacent woman, and she's not touching it. She's not saying anything. They don't have no agenda for black Americans. Their only strategy is, hey, I'm going to pay the shills, thousands of dollars to go out and troll, to go out and make attack videos, get people to make talking points in the videos, have these concerts, maybe pay some people to show up so our numbers look huge. Because the reason why they want these rallies that she's having to have so many people there, because it gives the illusion that, wow, look how many people supporting her, man. And if you question about supporting her, you may be thinking, well, am I wrong? Because look how many people supporting her. Like, it must be something. Maybe I'm thinking wrong. That's what that's about. That's why they want them numbers there. It's all about, finessing the voters who's out there on the fence to say, well, man, if she's so popular, then shoot, it must be something that she's doing right, because maybe I'm just thinking wrong. That's what all that's about. Then you have the Shields coming out. Then you have the Boulay coming out. I mean, it's a full court press what they're doing. And then somebody said in the chat just now that at the DNC that they got rappers and all of that going on. I'll check that out a little later. I'll check it out. But I believe it. I mean, shoot, why wouldn't they be there? Where's the singers? Well, I mean, shoot, if they bring out more twerking, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with that either. Whatever they got to do. Now, see, they'll bring out some twerking and some rapping, but they won't bring you some policy. Because, see, for them, it's okay for you to be an entertainer. That's acceptable. But bringing policy specific to black Americans, that itself is not acceptable, because, remember, the policy is benign neglect to the black community. So they're going to fight extremely hard about this election. And something the lady said last night at the DNC made me say, is this the reason why the top Democrat brass is really going to try their hardest to get her elected? Let me play this short clip real quick, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not. Listen to this lady right here.
Donald Trump would be able to weaponize the Department of Justice to go after his political opponents. He could even turn the FBI into his own personal police force. That is not how it works in America. That's how it works in dictatorships.
Now, who is his political opponents? It ain't me. It's not a lot of you. Who is his political opponents? And didn't he say that, hey, y'all did this mess to me, so if I get in there, like what was Denzel Washington character on Training Day? So I guess they feel that Donald Trump gonna get in there and put cases on all of them, right? So if you feel Donald Trump gonna get in office and put cases on everybody, then yeah, I can understand why the Democrats are fighting very hard right now. I get it, Democrats. I get it. Say, wait, didn't they do that to Trump? Yeah, they the one did it to him. Because he said that when he got in office originally, he could have put a case on Hillary, but he said it wasn't a good look. He said it's a former president to be doing that to his wife. He said he let that go. But now since they did it to him, you know how petty he is. He's going to be like, I'm putting cases on all y'all. So if that man win, I don't know what Democrats are he going to be looking at, but I wouldn't want to be in America if I was them. But all the money these politicians steal and all of that constantly, or it's earmarked, or what these politicians do, put companies in a bill and for these companies to get money and for you to go patronize certain industries, and then these same politicians go buy stock and all of that in these companies, and then their stock prices go way up. Now, if it was me or you, they'll be considered insider trading, right? Because you know the stock price can go up based off of what you're doing. But we'll go to jail, but not them. This is how you go from $150,000 to $175,000 a year job, and then if you ever leave Congress, it's why you're a multimillionaire. That's how that happens. But nobody questions that, because what job do you have if you got paid $175,000 a year, within a few years you're a millionaire? Most people say, well, how did that happen? And you haven't got that kind of raise on your job. You haven't got it. But yet, this is what's going on with you, right? So the DNC is like I said, they are in crunch time. They switched. You say, was she high? Bruh, I don't know. Because I've been hearing a whole lot of stories about individuals that like to get drunk and individuals that could be taking prescriptions. And all. I've heard stories, but, I can hear, but I'm not going to put it out there if I don't have concrete proof of something, right? But the rumors are swirling about a lot of them. So the Democrats, it's not about history with this lady. It's about saving their own hide. I don't even really think it's about America right now. I mean, you can think about it. They tried everything they could to even prevent this point. I mean, if you think about it, the way the Democrats originally did it was he wasn't even supposed to be this far. He was supposed to have been out the race a long time ago with all these cases he had. Most people, they wouldn't have been not even nowhere near this. So now he's a Republican nominee. Of course, the assassination attempt that happened to him. I mean, we all, I'm not going to say much, because you know what platform we on, but if you know, you've seen that happen, and he's still there. So, I mean, they are really afraid. Even Nancy Pelosi herself said, Donald Trump cannot step foot back in this White House. I'm like, well, if the voters vote for him, I mean, what will happen with that? But that's what so now the next thing is going to be hanging up on this judge in New York with this records case. Because, Trump supposed to get sentenced, on the 18th of September is when he's supposed to get sentenced? Yeah. Mike C saying a lawfare. Yeah, it's lawfare. But the deal is they won't like it when it's on the other side or the other foot. So they're going to fight. This is why they're coming so hard at black men and saying, you need to get out there and vote, and sending Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey and D.L. Hughley and Uncle Luke and anybody else. It's about saving they hide. It ain't about saving the country at this point. It's about saving them. Because what will be the point of saying all that? He's not walking around saying that's what he's going to do, but he made mention of it. So that's why they worried about it. Now, it's not. God is not. It's not about America. They worried about first of all their power. I watched Joe Biden's speech, the full speech in its entirety. I actually got to sit down and watch it. And Joe Biden didn't even mention Barack Obama in his speech, which I thought it was interesting. But they said that he got like beef with Obama right now, so that's why he even mentioned him in his speech. At the end, Biden was crying at the end, because he had made a statement saying, well, I was too young to be a senator when I first went in, and I'm too old to be president. Now, weeks ago, not months, he wanted to run a second term. You can kind of see in the midst of all his anger that he had in that speech, the man did not want to go out like that, being forced out. And then if you watch the clip that we just saw with his wife, man, her energy, the way, if you just pay a listen to what she was just saying and her energy, it's like, man, I'm doing, you remember Marshawn Lynch Well, he said, man, I'm doing this so I don't get fined. You remember you say that? That's the only reason I'm up here. What question you got? I'm just not trying to get fined. That's kind of energy that Dr. Jill Biden had. She had that I'm trying to be up here so I don't get fined. You know, because think about it. If they'd have been like, man, forget y'all, man. I ain't going to that convention. Then that would have really blew up the spot at the convention for him, right? Everybody said, what happened to President Biden? What? He not coming? But the rumors state that he was just only going to do his time, his speech, and then he wasn't showing up no more. He's not staying. You know, I mean, but why should he stay? They forced the man out. I mean, I can understand if he came to that decision on his own and say, you know what, my health is just not good, and so I'm just going to just finish off my term. But no, the man was forced out. And they say that man's extremely stubborn. So somebody that's extremely stubborn being forced out, yeah, he feels some sort of way about that. He do. You can't tell. Yeah, President Biden's feelings were hurt. Oh yeah, his feelings were hurt because it's like, man, I've been cool with y'all all these years. We done a lot of dirt to Black America together, and this what you gonna do me? I did the crime bill, I did this and that and the third, and at the end you gonna just toss me out in the garbage can? And listen, you toss me out after I get 14 million votes from the people in the primary, even though the primary wasn't really a primary, but whatever. I get 14 million votes in the primaries. I go through all that, right? Just for you to toss me in the trash and replace me with somebody that was not elected by the people, did not go through a primary or anything. Because when she had to go through a primary, she didn't make it. She had to end her presidential campaign in 2020. She didn't get no far at all. She didn't. So this time you're literally handing her a nomination. And also the funny part, and y'all help me, how do you go from being the most disliked vice president, disliked, nobody see you, nobody know where you're at, to now everybody love just looking at you? I mean, it's a masterclass on PR, propaganda, marketing. It's a masterclass that I'm just watching with this. Of course, the media, they are part of it too. So they're assisting her in ways that most candidates aren't getting assisted. I mean, it's interesting. She's not being pressed about interviews because she won't interview with nobody. She won't, even if you don't want to do an interview, a press conference, she won't even do that either. I'm wondering if she's going to be able to coast all the way to election day with no press conference. I was curious about that because shouldn't she answer some questions from the media? A lot of people got questions. Listen, she didn't even show up to the NABJ. That in itself, you should have showed up. Remember, you're a ski-wee sister girl. So why didn't you show up to the NABJ? How did Trump show up and you didn't? You were supposed to be the first one at the NABJ so you secured them black votes, right? So you're not even showing up to events like the NABJ so you secured black votes. I mean, how far do you think you're going to go off of, well, I'm a woman and they say I'm black, so I'm a black woman and that's good enough for them. I don't have to go talk to them. I don't have to present them a policy. I don't have to present them anything, I'm just trying to figure that out. Like how long that's going to last while people start having questions, because that's kind of like faking it till you make it, and that's just not going to work. Because if you don't even have, and just the 2 policies she's discussed, people even on the Democrat side who are economists have ripped it to shreds and say, what is she talking about? So I really believe that she's going to try to not say anything, maybe just do speeches, but not do any kind of interviews. And I think down the line, that's going to maybe hurt her. Because how do you speak directly, when people can't even ask you questions? Because in a rally, nobody's going to ask you a question. She's not even doing a town hall. What town hall has she done? Well, she could sit there and take, questions from the audience. Now, I know sometimes those questions from the audience could be plants too at the same time. We all know that about plants. But she's not taking anything. And that's kind of, but Trump, he keeps doing press conferences on top of his speeches. He just did one, recently, whether you like how Trump talk or not, or you agree with Trump or not, he's doing press conferences. Yes, she's not doing it. Her vice president isn't taking, nominee, isn't taking interviews, isn't talking to nobody. I mean, what's going on with that? So let's see, since they got the DNC, let's see once Thursday she do her speech and all that Thursday, she racks up the nomination. We still don't see any policies on her website, which is strange because you have a short amount of time to reach out to voters and you're not doing it. You're making the whole DNC the first day about Trump, name calling. And I don't understand why the Democrats, listen, when Trump does that name calling, it's not a good look for him either. I mean, especially at his age. You look at the Democrats, they, I think, doing way more name calling than Trump this time around. Everybody's name calling. Name calling, Trump. That stuff can backfire on you doing that because instead of you presenting why you're better, instead of you presenting, hey, this is my policy, this is what we're going to do to make America better, XYZ, you just keep calling Trump's name. Listen, at this point, it's safe to say nobody cares about Donald Trump's cases because he wouldn't have got this far. I mean, is it safe to say nobody cares about his cases? You calling him a felon and all that, people don't care, obviously. There's a lot of people, and we just posted a video, did a commentary on what Don Lemon went out into Atlantic City, and he was asking people, and a lot of these black people, see, and Don Lemon was shocked about that. A lot of black people talking about, hey, I want to vote for Trump, not because they like Republicans. No. They only talk about in the area of the economy, where the economy was better. So that's why I'm thinking about voting for him over Kamala, because Kamala is the reason why the economy is where it's at right now. It's called the Biden-Harris administration. They would tell you, well, people, the economy is doing great. For who? Who's doing great for? Because the average citizen is suffering in this country. They're suffering. So how is it? Well, unemployment numbers are down. What do you mean that they're down? There's a lot of people unemployed. I watch people from all persuasions say they put in hundreds of applications, and they still cannot get a doggone job. What do you mean the economy is good? Maybe some of you have been trying to get a job, and you've been going to interview after interview after interview, and you're not getting hired. Then if you are getting hired, the pay isn't good. The pay isn't good at all. So what are y'all talking about? That's what I'm trying to understand. What are y'all talking about? The economy is not good. So I keep saying, and maybe some Kamala Harris supporters could tell me, because I could be wrong. I always say that. I could be wrong. But how is she going to fix the economy that her administration ruined? How are we going to expect that? That doesn't make sense to me. And I was so glad I'm seeing more and more black Americans saying this. I don't care about all that first black woman stuff. I don't care about that. I care about what you're going to do. I care about the economy. I care about the immigration. That's what I care about. And I remember at one point in time, I was thinking about this today. Do you remember at one point in time, black people call you a sellout for saying something like that? Do you remember that? Because I do. Do you remember? A lot of black people say you're a sellout for saying that I'm not focusing on their color. I'm focusing on what they're actually doing. I'm focusing on this and that. Oh, you're a sellout. You're a sellout because you just don't want to support them because they black. Because at one point in time, the consensus in the black American community, we have to admit this, was I'm only going to vote for them because they black. And if you don't support them because they black and you said something like that, then you're a sellout. Not that they have any proof of that. You just said that I want to make sure the person's going to do the right thing. And this is how this is how you get a super mayor in Dalton, Illinois. That's how you get a super mayor. oh, I want the first black woman, not say the first qualified black woman, not the first black woman that's great for the job, okay, and she was the best, she happens to be black, but she was the best person that we wanted to vote for. No, we want to make history. Okay, Dalton made history. Now look at the history this woman is making. And it's not a good history. It's a bad history. Dalton, Illinois, that city was in a surplus in the millions. Tiffany come in there and she starts spending thousands and millions of dollars. And now the city is in debt. The city's in debt right now. But you just wanted to make history. And Tiffany is a Democrat, that's for sure. But you wanted to make history. See how that history work out for you when you sit up here and only focus on the person's skin tone or a person's gender and not focus on, is that person going to be the right person for the job? That's it. Are they going to be the right person? And if they're not the right person, I'm not going to, if they don't have nobody that's the right person, now I'm good. I'm straight. Now, you curly girls say black people in law to black politicians. Now we find out they are black. Okay. Yeah, they black people, but they white in the mind. I know what you're talking about. I get why, though. I get it. This was the thinking. Okay. They come from the same community I come from. So since they come from the same community I come from, that means they understand the problems. So the majority of the black community thought, let me get Maxine Waters in office because Maxine come from our community. And because Maxine come from our community, Maxine know all the issues and problems in the black community. When Maxine go up there, Maxine going to be fighting and trying to present bills and stuff like that to help the community because Maxine come from that, right? Or the late Sheila Jackson Lee. She's in the 18th district, so she was in the 18th district of Houston. She understands the issues and problems in the 18th district. She's a black woman. So let's go ahead on and send her up there because she understands and she's going to fight for the 18th district and make sure we are good as a community. That was really the thinking and the loyalty to it. I mean, it should have worked out, actually. But unfortunately, when these black politicians that don't come from the grassroots, from what I'm learning, and then some of them could come from the grassroots, but they get flipped. But a politician that say like Eric Mays, you couldn't flip him. And that's why they don't want brothers like that or sisters that could be like Eric Mays. That's why they don't want them getting in positions of Congress or Senate or things like that, even if they are Democrat. Like the Democrats do not want an outspoken black man or woman. They don't want a black man or woman who's standing on business for black people. They don't want that. They want you to toe the line. And toeing the line is immigration. Toeing the line is unaliving children in the womb. Toeing the line is everything else but black people. So you could be in that position and you and your family could benefit very well out of those positions. But the moment you start advocating for black people, you got to go. You understand? Or you step out of line or any party positions they have. Remember with George Floyd, they was reacting the same way with George Floyd. If y'all go back, remember that. The people was in the streets and everything. The Democrats were quiet as a mouse. Do y'all remember that? The Democrats were quiet as a mouse at first. They were so quiet. And then I guess they seen an angle to get in with George Floyd. And really, George Floyd and what happened to him just happened at the right time for the Democrats. And that's really how they won the election. Because they took the emotion and the anger and the pain that black Americans had by seeing that lynching, literally, in 4K. And the Democrats swooped in. And because the Democrats are very good at dealing with the emotions of black people, they know how to talk to y'all a certain way. They know how to pat y'all on the back a certain way and curve your emotion to put them in power. They'll say things but not saying things like, oh, we're going to get a police accountability commission and all of that. Then when Biden gets elected and everybody asks him, hey, what happened to that police accountability commission that you wanted to have? Oh, we got to let Congress do that. That is the Biden-Harris administration. Okay? That is them. You never forget that. That's them. And when it came to immigration, and I want to hold on because I just saw this video today and I forgot I even had this on my hard drive. So give me a second. There's a video I want to show y'all. Let me see, where's that video at? Come on, where is it? In this video, come on, where's this video at? Maybe I passed it up. Hold on. God, where's that video? I just saw it this morning. I think I'm passing it up. It was supposed to be that video with Joe Biden talking to the civil rights people. There we go. Okay. So in this video, I'm gonna remind y'all when Joe Biden got elected and he was the president-elect. Do you remember this video here? I'm about to cue up. Just give me a second.
If we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Now, y'all remember that? Kamala Harris was sitting there at the time. She didn't speak up and say, well, no, we got to do something for the Black American community. Yeah, I get that, but we got to make sure that we do. She was quiet, didn't say nothing. We got to see during the Biden-Harris administration, they've been flooding the zone with migrants. They have been emptying the jails in Venezuela, emptying their prisons, and say, hey, we'll let you out of prison today, but you got to go to America. You can get out, but you got to go straight up there. You can't stay here. So the crime rate in Venezuela is getting extremely low because they are sending all their criminals up here. And how do we know this? All the crimes are starting to happen, and they are known gang members, that's Venezuelan gangs, that have came up here because they wasn't asylum seekers, just a good family trying to make a better life. No, these are criminals. And they are, a lot of these people are up here violating women, children. They're unaliving people. They were trying to commandeer, I think Aurora, Colorado, commandeering apartment complexes and then extorting the people that's staying there to the point that they had to literally shut the place down and have about 100 people trying to find somewhere to stay because they only had like 6 days. 6 days to find a place to stay. Not because the people did anything wrong, the residents. Is because of these people that's come up here and they're gang members. They're breaking into gun stores now to go get guns. They're out there targeting police because the Venezuelan gang says that there's a green light on police officers in the United States. So they haven't seen that kind of level of savagery that y'all gonna start to see with them people that came over here. And you know what? Even if Biden and Harris, they let's say that's it. If she loses the election, that's still going to be a problem way after they are out of office. That's going to be a problem. This short 4-year term that they have stacked so many people in this country and don't know where they come from, don't know what they had going on. Because what they try to sell you is, oh, well, these just some people that were struggling in their country and they couldn't make it. So they just want to come work and just, have a decent life. That's what they sell everybody. But they're not telling people all the bad that's come through that situation. And the question is, the biggest question, and nobody asked this question, why were you flying in 30,000 people a month? That's a question she should be asked. Why, with the Biden-Harris administration, why are you flying 30,000 people in this country a month? Why? You couldn't work. We couldn't work with their country to help them in any issues they may have, so they could stay in their country. Why the option is to come up here? Like, we don't have problems in this country. We have so many problems in this country. We have a housing crisis. We have homelessness. We have people right here in America need jobs. When the people come up here, they're coming to get resources. They are getting resources, but they're also getting jobs as well. But yeah, you got American citizens who are applying to 100 different jobs, can't get one. Not everybody out here is lazy. Everybody's not lazy out here. Some people are actually trying to do the right thing. And they're not getting their, like they like to say the term, the Democrats, their fair share. They're not getting that. I mean, you cannot justify flying in 30,000 people a month into this country. You can't justify that. And they're doing it underneath asylum claims. Venezuela is not in a war. Guatemala is not in a war. You understand? Nicaragua, El Salvador, none of them places are in a war. Asylum supposed to be war-torn countries. Hey, my country is going through a war. And I always said this, you pass up all them Latin American countries, coming from Venezuela. You pass all those Latin American countries to come up to America. If you truly just need asylum, then you need to go to the first country that's near your country. And most countries have asylum programs, especially they, part of the UN. They have that. Okay, I saw y'all say something. I'm just trying to pay attention. That's estimates. People saying 15, 20 million people has been just coming in, because think about it. They had talked about in one quarter, like 3 million people that came across the border. And that's the ones they counted, not the ones that came in, they didn't know about them. Right. And I asked a person I know that worked down there, I said, hey, is these numbers true? Or is they just exaggerating in the media? Like, no, that's true. He said, what they do, because of what I was told, what they do, they go to the border and they turn themselves in. He said, most of them not sneaking in, they turn themselves in. They told them what the laws are. So if you go turn yourself in and you say, well, I'm in fear of my life and, I'm coming for asylum, in this country, they got to let them in. That's all they got to say. I fear for my life and I need asylum. And they let them in, and then they try to hear their case and all of that. They get signed up, XYZ. They give them phones because they got a court date to come and do their asylum. Some of these court dates aren't happening for years, ladies and gentlemen. They say some of the backlog is up to 8 to 10 years before they get a court date. So they in this country, they give them a phone so they can call them about their court date or whatever else they got going on legally. And they've been sending them into the interior of the United States and just hoping they show up to court when they get a court date. That's the game. That's the game. Well, Kellen, United States, definitely has taken resources from other countries. Well, we all know that. I agree. I'd say that the United States have taken a lot of resources from a lot of other countries. But realistically, is Americans flooding their countries other than maybe they want to buy some property? But the people didn't do it. Our government, you know how it is. The government is one thing and the people of the country is another. And it's going to come to a head eventually. It's going to come to a head. Now, they got an issue and problem. They government needs to deal with our government. But even the taking of resources, their government is complicit. 'Cause a lot of times, even in African countries, their leadership is complicit because they getting paid. So they say, yeah, you can have whatever as long as you give me some money. And the people, in Africa going to different countries. But we can't take on the whole world, especially when you have so many Latin American countries right there where you speak the language. And if you're just going truly for a job or you're trying to make a better life, you're talking about just that, then why can't you go to the next country over or the next country over, etc. that's in Latin America? Not every Latin American country is doing bad. There's some Latin American countries that's doing very well. No, the fact is they want to come get free stuff. That's really what it is. Free stuff. And in a way, I can't blame them, because if this country is silly enough to give free stuff, then why wouldn't they come take it? But it goes back to the Democrats. The Democrats want to do that. Yeah, you say it sounds familiar. I fear for my life, but no, that's what I was told about. They're turning themselves in. They're not really sneaking in. They're turning themselves in at the border. And so when Greg Abbott in Texas, I don't know if y'all remember, he had put up that razor wire and all of that, so they couldn't go turn themselves in. And Biden, I knew it was an agenda when Biden and them fought Greg Abbott here in Texas for putting up the razor wire and all that to prevent them from coming turn themselves in here in Texas. At first I'm like, okay, well, they just coming. But then when I saw Biden fight that, and Biden was taking him to court and trying to do all that to stop him from blocking them from coming to the border in Texas, I say, okay, that's an agenda now. He wants them to come over here like that. He don't care about anything. And it only became a problem when Greg Abbott said, okay, cool. Then you know what I'm about to do? I'm going to start busing y'all, the migrants to y'all cities. So y'all sanctuary city, no problem. Chicago, you want some too? Because Lori Lightfoot got that started, actually. She ran off at the mouth to Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott said, oh, okay. Since you talking, that's when he started sending them up there to Chicago. He was sending them at first to D.C. That's really how it started. It's called Operation Lone Star. He was sending them to D.C. He actually sent a busload in front of Kamala's residence in D.C. He was dropping them off in front of Congress, dropping them off in front of the White House, what he was doing. Then I think it was Eric Adams at the time ran off at his mouth. And then he said, okay, well, since you're a sanctuary city, I'm gonna send them over there to you then. And so that's when they start being bused to New York. You say these folks' birth rate problem is fueling well, that's part of it too. So he starts sending them to New York. And then, like I said, the Lori Lightfoot thing, he started sending them to Chicago. And then he started picking other cities. Denver. What's the other cities? He started sending them to, now, do you remember Ron DeSantis on a plane of them to Martha's Vineyard? Now, Martha's Vineyard is where they got that money at. And that's completely liberal, Martha's Vineyard. There's no conservative over there. And them people at Martha's, they always say they welcoming immigrants and they love immigrants and all of that. But when the immigrants showed up in Martha's Vineyard and they needed help, they got them immigrants right on out of Martha's Vineyard real quick. They got the National Guard to go get them immigrants out of Martha's Vineyard. So it seems like the Democrats really don't care about immigrants unless they being put in cities, in neighborhoods where black people are at. Because they truly didn't want to help those migrants out, clearly. So Ron DeSantis kind of pulled their card on that. They cool with immigration as long as they're not putting in their communities. Yeah. And now what's happening, it's about to get crazy in New York. Because now Eric Adams is saying the money running out. Like all that money they was giving them, they say, hey, the money about to run out very soon. And if the federal government don't give me money, I ain't got nothing for them no more. Because they didn't deplete it. Because that's the thing. if you give people free stuff and they're not like producing on their own, if they're not producing anything on their own, then what do you think they're going to do? You didn't say, well, in order to get this money, you have to have a job and you have to be gainfully employed. That's not how they were getting the money. They were just giving them the money. You remember they had the shelters. Then at the shelter, they start complaining. I don't want to eat that food. That's not my cultural food. Like, what? Hold on. You're not paying for nothing, but you say you want your cultural food. Well, if you want your cultural food, then go to work, and then you can go cook and work and get your cultural food. But Eric Adams and them made a mistake. Oh, I'm going to give them this money, give them all this food money so they can have their cultural food. We spending so much money, they throwing food away. And maybe they'll eat their cultural food so we can save some money and they can take this. You remember them debit cards? They can go to the bodega and the grocery stores and all of that to go buy their own food and cook it like they want. And I'm like, well, that's a VIP service. You ever heard that statement? It's the truth. Beggars can't be choosy. I'll come to you and want free stuff, but I'm like, I don't want that. No, you give me this. Like really? And they made these people entitled. Where all the money was coming from, New York, where all these military-age males running around Times Square with these electric scooters. Where the money come from? They didn't come here with a lot of money, right? So where all the money come from? And they using them same scooters not to go get a job, not to go do Postmates or Uber Eats or something. No, some of them are using those scooters to commit crimes. Home invasions. I don't know if you heard about that. That some of the migrants from Venezuela, in particular, they're posing like they're Amazon delivery people and kicking in doors and robbing. And oh yeah, them dudes from Venezuela has been acting a fool. You look it up. Don't believe me? You can go look it up. Look all up on the news about all these home invasions the Venezuelans are doing and all that. Oh yeah, New York, you got a problem on your hands. Chicago gonna have one too. Denver, Aurora, and all them places, they got a problem too. But I tell you what, they better not start nothing down here. You know, when you come into the state of Texas, those of you who at least drove into the state of Texas, there's a big sign that says, don't mess with Texas. And they mean every bit of that. So if they decide to think they're going to do that down here, it's not a good look. Because you may have something waiting on you on the other side of that door. You kick those in around here. I'll tell you that much. Because Texas is extremely 2A friendly. I would tell people that. Because you don't even need a permit to carry one here if that's what you want to do. Yeah, they snatching purses, dragging women. I heard a horrible story of one of them violating a homeless woman while the other one held the guy that she was with down while he was violating a woman. You know, I mean, and this guy, he had did that to someone else a year prior. So they're coming here doing things like this too. But the Democrats want to be in the DNC acting like these people are coming over and just getting, you know, they just hardworking people with families. They just want to, you're not telling the story. You're not telling the story. You're lying to the American people. And unfortunately, most Americans, they find out when it's too late. Like after you put, you know, if Kamala gets in there, you put it in there, and now we having all these issues and problems. You say, okay, Walter Beasley says nasty message. Black-brown politics plays into that game. I don't know what you're talking about black-brown. I don't know what that is. I'm just talking about things that you could look up yourself. These crimes I'm mentioning that's happening, you can look this stuff up yourself. You ain't got to take my word for it. It's easy to go Google it. Very, very easy. You know, Walter, thank you for the support, though. Thank you for the support. But yeah, they Black Americans better look out for Black Americans. That's the only thing I'm saying. And also I gotta say something else too, though. I gotta say something else. Let me talk about immigration though on another side. It's not the African immigrants or the Caribbean immigrants that's doing all this craziness either. I want to point that out. It is not the African immigrants and it's not the Caribbean immigrants. It's not. Because I keep hearing Venezuelan ones, but I don't hear nothing about a brother from Cameroon somewhere, or a brother from Ghana that came over here, or a sister from Nigeria, or somebody from Barbados and came over here. I'm not hearing those stories about black immigrants doing things like that. I just want to point that out too. It's not them. It's the other ones. The ones that the DNC prioritize. They don't prioritize black immigrants. They may prioritize them over black Americans, but when the grand scheme of things are being with the immigration, they will not prioritize a black immigrant over them other ones. And the black immigrants find out the hard way how they're not prioritized, and some of them have talked about it and protested and say, hey, why are you not giving us the same help as you're giving these other ones? But these other ones getting all the help and committing the crimes. The African and Caribbean immigrants aren't doing it. I mean, we have our little discussions about, culture and all that between black Americans and Africans and Caribbeans and all that. And that's a discussion, that's straightening, that's whatever. That's conversation. But when the rubber meets the road, they're not committing all those crimes. I don't see a bunch of African brothers doing the home invasions. I ain't heard a bunch of Caribbean brothers violating the women and children. And I don't hear the African brothers out there targeting the police and actually shooting them. I don't hear about no African gangs or no Caribbean gangs terrorizing the place. I ain't heard it. So I just want to make sure I put that into the right context. But Walter, it's not my problem. I don't care. Walter, I don't care. I'm not justifying criminality, and it's no country in the world you can go to and do that in. None. First of all, you're a foreigner, and you're not going to be prioritized over the citizen. That's number one. Number two, no other country in the world, and let me say the citizens of that country, would allow what is going on here right now with the Democrat Party. They wouldn't allow this. I know what I'm telling you. They won't allow it. They wouldn't. Whatever America's doing all over the world, whatever that may be, does that justify people coming over here doing the things that they're doing to the citizens? It doesn't justify it. It don't. But it's easy to say that until something happens to your family member. Then if something happens to your family member, then you'll have a different tune. And I don't want nothing to happen to nobody's family. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. What they were saying? Let me see. Black powder firearms. Okay. All right. I don't know why y'all going there. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, these ask the problem. Well, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you though, Walter. I appreciate you. It's just a conversation. It's a conversation, Walter. But it's just real. I mean, so the third 333 million people in this country have nothing to do with the policies of the United States government, and these people who making these policies, that's why it's very important who you vote for and what party you're putting in office. This is very important. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the stream tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. It's very important. And make sure to come back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on African Diaspora News Channel. We're probably looking at seeing what happened in day 2 of the DNC. I know President Obama and Michelle and a couple others going to speak tonight. I'll try to listen to that in its entirety just to see where they're going with the situation and what the energy going to be. But thank y'all for listening. We'll see you on the next one.